And now we find ourselves in another smelly SUV. But this one has a different smell.
It smells more like leather.
Yeah, and that's tolerable.
We can forgive that.
This is apparently, according to Catherine, the Liebau CS7. And honestly, you guys are going to hate me. I actually kind of like this thing. The build quality on this is a hell of a lot better than the last one we were in.
Oh, I'm a lot more impressed by it, and I don't know if it's just because the last one we were in versus this one.
This one seems finished, more finished. Yeah, that's a weird material in the armrest. It's very...
there's an air pocket here, though.
It feels like the shift boots on the Mark IIIs. The cheap Mark IIIs.
And speaking of shifter boots, I really love the shifter assembly in this car with the twin shift boot for the manual shifter and the high-low selector.
For the four-wheel drive, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is about a Toyota 4Runner generation ago sized SUV. It's got a manual transmission. I don't know what size engine this has. I would hope it'd be a V6 of some kind. Four-wheel drive, you know, manually selectable, not push button or anything like that. So it's kind of a throwback to the 80s as far as technology for the four-wheel drive system. And Mike's trying to look at the owner's manual, but it's all in Chinese, so...
So it's not going to do me much good.
Well, I looked in the back, and it has a decent-sized cargo area, which is very tall. So if you actually needed to bring home a dryer, you might be able to get it back there.
And, you know, the seating position is very similar to the Murano as far as the driving position, which I like.
It produces 105 kilowatts of power and 340 newton meters of torque on one version. The other version has 92 kilowatts and 190 newton meters. So whatever that actually converts to, maybe we can do that conversion later.
I think that's kind of low.
Yeah, it sounds low.
It's not too bad, though. We're looking at probably 150 horsepower there.
This is weird. There's like glasses holders up here. You can't pass through.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's too bad. It would be a good place to put a map.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll it up and throw it up there. I mean, overall, the build quality of this reminds me of, you know, mid-90s Japanese car. And my throat's burning all of a sudden.
Well, Matt, there goes Matt's theory of it's not so bad.
Well, I just opened the door to get some air in here, but I like this a lot better than the last one. I think I like this one best of all the Chinese cars we've been in today.
Oh, definitely. It seems like a lot more finished product. That's, I think, the best way you can say it. It's not something that's cobbled together to make a presentation. This is more of a finished product, I guess.
But it has rear seat heat and is it heat also back there? Or
Heat
just
also back there.
Heat and air conditioning. You know, feature-wise, this is actually pretty good. It's got a front and rear intermittent wipers, front and rear fog lights. It has power mirrors. It looks like it has a climate control, a full LCD screen for I believe
a nav system or some sort. There's a DVD button, so maybe you can watch. Oh yeah, maybe you can watch DVDs. I don't know, but I'd assume it's for a nav sat.
It's got an interesting secondary handle in the back with built-in light. I don't know if it folds out.
It could just be because this is so tall that I believe that's the step-up handle.
Yes, the step-up handle.
I do think it's kind of interesting, though, that the sunroof, instead of being above the driver's and passenger seat, it's actually more above the rear passengers. Not completely, but it doesn't start till basically the B-pillar, which is very different.
There might be some structural issue for that.
Right.
It could be because of this big bin above us too that has like a pretty large or generous size like sunglass holder, or you could put a wallet up there. You know, that would be, if you had to leave your wallet in the car, I don't think.
And you guys aren't sitting back here, but there's actually rear seat entertainment system.
Oh wow.
Yes, yeah. Now I don't know what we're watching back here, but...
And there's a 60-40 split rear fold seat, I noticed, with an armrest.
Console and cup holders.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. So yeah, so this is definitely a lot more of a finished product than we've seen from the other Chinese cars that we've looked at so far.
Would we call, if we had such a thing, would we call this Neuwerks picks if you were after a Chinese car, desperate to get a Chinese car no matter what cost?
Yeah, I would think so at this point out of what we've seen by far.
Oh, I even noticed it has a blind spot curve in the mirror like the new Volvos have.
Oh. And just one thing to remind people, in a difference from the Hi-Fun, this door actually shuts.
Yeah, this sounds like a good quality Japanese, you know, SUV. Even current, the door quality, I think the structural
door quality is awesome.
Yeah, it's got a good solid feel to it. So yeah, definitely it's definitely my choice for the Chinese automakers. Very, very well put together.
Congratulations to Shang Feng.
Well, we made our way over to Saab to hopefully finish this podcast. To get here, or this Neucast, sorry. To get here, we had to forge our way through Chrysler and Toyota, and eventually through Cadillac and Hummer. But we made it, and this particular vehicle that we're in, I didn't even pay attention to the name. What was the concept, Catherine?
It's the 94X biofuel concept.
By Saab.
By Saab.
And it really caught our eye.
It's got it's almost got a more traditional Saab-like appearance as opposed to the Trailblazer clone that they used for their last SUV. If this were to go into production, this would appear to be towards the high end of the mid-size SUV market to compete against vehicles like the Q7, the Touareg, and the likes of that. I mean, those two are not necessarily competing against each other, but I think it would probably fit somewhere in between.
Well, and along with the more traditional Saab styling, it has a very contemporary styling as well, with a very almost glass-looking dash. Really, I don't know how to describe the vents other than they have a uniform honeycomb texture across the entire dashboard that the vents are blended into. It looks really cool.
Totally.
I think this would be called the modernist style along the terms of the mid-century modern style in the international school. It's very, very beautiful. There's a ton of brushed and polished aluminum in the car, and right now as we're sitting in it, it's equipped with 3 sets of Solomon skis that are clamped in some sort of frame assembly.
In the center of the vehicle, and it's not intrusive at all. I mean, it's intrusive into the middle passenger if there were trying to be 3 passengers back here, but I've got plenty of space in this with all of these snowboards, with these skis here.
With a 40-40-20 3-way split rear seat, you have the ability to put a ski pass through in and still fit 4 passengers. I think Saab's got a serious hit in the possibility of building this concept.
Oh, and there's a video in the dash that just showed that the rear tray can actually slide out, and this rack that's holding the skis up will actually slide and fold into it, which is really cool.
This reminds me a lot of the Avantissimo. It had very similar style. It had a luggage compartment that was concealed under the back of the car. The whole back would slide out. The cover would slide forward. You could store items underneath there, and the car was still quattro.
And to add to the beauty factor, it has an entirely panoramic glass roof that it's just amazingly beautiful. I'm really floored by the gorgeousness of this concept.
And we all mentioned that we don't really necessarily care for light interiors, but this has a white interior with black trim accents that definitely pull it off. Even the gauges are really
sharp.
Clean and sharp, and they have green accents on just the needles, it looks like, and possibly a slight ring around the speedometer that are just, again, very sharp.
Alright, well I feel like we're repeating ourselves a bit with the beauty of this concept. It's also got rear seat, in-seat entertainment in the front seat headrest.
Touchscreen from what it appears. It's not functional, but I mean it looks like it would be touchscreen.
Yeah.
In production mode, so.
The honeycomb vents actually repeat in the back seat, so this is beautiful.
I think we have something that I actually like from Saab first in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I think that's actually, it's kind of nice to be able to end the show on something
on a really high note.
Yeah, on something very different, but also on a very high note. I mean, it seems like none of us can stop praising this. So
this is beautiful.
I really hope something like this actually makes it into production.
Well, with that said, we're going to end this one. We might do a little bit of a closing audio when we get upstairs, but we have another camera crew that was here first, and they graciously let us come in and do our recording. So we're going to step out. And
we're going to get out of their way. And
I'm Catherine.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Mike. And we'll either catch you in the post-production or on our next Neucast. So I hope you enjoyed it and have a good day.